Hey guys, classmates. Um, Here's I'm gonna post my question now for our assignment. This quote is found in chapter 9, the beginning of chapter 9, and I highlighted it because it really struck something in my mind when I was reading it. And it says, prayer is not only something we do in worship, is what constitutes worship. Um, so then it says something like. It is right and even necessary to devote time for prayers in public worship and also use the variety of types of prayer as a means for conversing with God. And that's really what stuck out to me, conversing with God, because I thought, what is prayer? It's having a conversation with God. And somewhere else in the book, she talked about long prayers too, and not giving time a time of silence, and thinking about a conversation. In a conversation, it's not a monologue, it's a dialogue. But prayer oftentimes is a monologue. It's just talk, 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 and really no time to listen. So another thing that she says here, in the conversation, it says, yet the larger picture is this, continuing the quote: the entire liturgy needs to be viewed as prayer. To misunderstand this basic point is to misunderstand worship. And then I like this next quote. She says, prayer and worship is good, but worship as prayer is better yet. And then I thought about the way we behave sometimes in church, and the distractions that we may get. And I appreciate some of the comments that Dr. Williams has been saying in class about maybe not checking your phone, things like that. Is a spiritual discipline, and you get out of worship what you put into worship. And I sort of agree with that. And one thing that has helped me personally is to sort of use my imagination and picture God in his throne right there as we worship. Because I imagine that if we could physically see God, let's say that, when we came to church, we could literally see God sitting on the throne. I think that we would, behave a little bit differently. I think of Isaiah chapter 6, and Isaiah's reaction to God. I think of Moses and his reverence towards God in the burning bush. And I think that if we could actually see God, we would behave differently. Not sure entirely how we would behave, but, we would just be in a more of a moment of worship, I think. And what do you think? Just before I close my question here, as we were sitting in class today, one of the PowerPoint quotes kind of, went along with what I'm saying here. It says, when we bow in prayer, this is from slide 8, let us remember that Jesus is with us. When we go into the house of God, let us remember that we are not going into a place of worship alone. We bring Jesus with us. If the people of God could have a realizing sense of this fact, they would not be inattentive hearers of the word. There would not be a cold lethargy upon heart, so that those who profess his name cannot speak of his love. So again, I think using the imagination, I think the imagination is a powerful thing. And when we're kids, we imagine a bunch of stuff. How about when we're in church, we imagine that God is there? Because he really is. It's not even just an imagination, it's a fact. But we're using the avenue of the imagination to picture him there. And that sort of, for me anyway, it creates this sense of, God is there. And I'm not saying I never talk during church or anything like that, or never check my phone. But I think I do when I stop using my imagination. But what do you think?